Hello and welcome to the EFN Presents review of the My Little Pony comic issue 4, final chapter in the return of Queen Chrysalis. As always guys, I will be covering the whole comic here, so if you haven't had a chance to read it yet, go and check it out and then head on back. After all the build-up, the laughs, the genocide, we come to the end of the first story arc in the new My Little Pony comics, and the real test for the team on their adaptation of the cartoon. How does Chrysalis's character hold up when she's thrust into the action? What kind of lesson does the comic have in store, and does its teachings match up against those of the show? Fillies and gentle colts, it all comes down to this, so let's jump right in. The cover for this issue is by Amanda Connor, and by now you probably know what I'm going to say about this one. Out of all of the A and B cover variants in the Chrysalis story, this is firmly in my number 2 spot, second only to A.B. Mebberson's stellar cover for issue 3. It's a very attractive style that hits a good balance on simplicity and detail, mixing subtle gradients with more of a cel-shaded look. These comics do need to appeal to a large audience, including the traditional audience for My Little Pony. And in that regard, the covers work. They're colorful, they feature the characters, and the artwork here is top-notch. But to forgo any references to the actual material inside doesn't give the reader any incentive to pick up this particular comic other than buy it because it has ponies. And considering this is the climactic story for the Chrysalis plot, there's plenty of great visuals that they could have used. We open on the main 6 at the gates of the Changeling Kingdom. In some more wonderfully integrated exposition, the ponies lay out the core elements of the issue, the factor of time, as well as their plans for rescuing the Cutie Mark Crusaders. As in the second issue, Rainbow Dash again offers up an alternate approach, with Twilight again reinforcing the reason behind the comic's direction. I'll admit it seems a little late for them to be going over these details, but points to Katie for showing that you don't need to bring in a narrator when you have 6 characters to work with. Absent are the changelings as the main 6 make their way to the castle in peace, which avoids unnecessary filler as well as fits Chrysalis's plan, which at this point is simply for the main 6 to waltz right up to her. We also get a scene establishing Chrysalis in the castle watching the ponies approach. They could have gone with the angle of leaving Chrysalis's first scene to when the ponies actually encounter her, but I do think this works better. While leaving her first scene could be used to build tension, her character is not new, and her appearance in the other comics lessens how big any kind of reveal would actually be. Here, her exchange with the Cutie Mark Crusaders, culminating with Chrysalis pressed up against the cocoon and the CMC backing away with fearful expressions, contrasts with their previous exchanges. It builds tension for the rest of the issue by telling us the game's changed and the old rules, where the CMC crack wise or make snide remarks and Chrysalis generally puts up with it, don't apply. Inside the castle, the ponies are confronted with an Escher-esque layout of rooms. I wonder if this castle belonged to the Diamond Dogs as well. The pony scavenger hunt gives us some wonderful splash panels, as well as helping us get our fill of references and jokes before the final encounter, at which point the comic thankfully plays it mostly straight. In a fun little montage, we get the following movies ponified: Creature from the Black Lagoon, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Stephen King's It, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, Evil Dead, Phantom of the Opera. Okay, we got that out of our system, let's get to the big encounter. The final showdown with Chrysalis is a glorious 11 pages, almost entirely comprised of Twilight and Chrysalis squaring off. While they both utilize magic against each other, this is a battle of wits more than brawn, and the result is more tense than any physical battle could be. We already know Chrysalis's plan and why she wants Twilight's magic, but as the encounter unfolds, the fates of Twilight and the main 6 shift, keeping the reader on their toes and their mind reeling as each twist means new consequences for failure. We're even thrown a glimmer of hope as Chrysalis's deal changes from stealing Twilight's powers to taking her on as an apprentice with the promise her friends will be let go. This fight does seem strangely familiar though. Is anybody else getting flashbacks to issue 2? No? The turning point comes with a fantastic splash page featuring all the story elements coming together as the comic rushes headlong into its climax. Why couldn't this have been the cover? Oh, it was. Oh, thank you, Dynamic Forces. This right here is the issue in a nutshell. Hell, if you had to sum up the entire plot in one visual, this is it. True to the spirit of the show, Twilight explains the flaw in Chrysalis's plan, the nature behind the strength of her power, of love and friendship, and the crucial difference between Twilight and Chrysalis's characters. In the aftermath, the comic wraps up loose ends, including Spike's actions during the previous issues. and devotes some pages to simply show us our main characters and the CMC safe, enjoying their mutual love and friendship that together defeated Chrysalis. Because, after all, the show is called My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, not My Little Pony Twilight Sparkles Magic. Without a doubt, this issue relies the most on strong artwork, and Price and Breckle prove more than up to the challenge. While the issue does have some important physical moments, most of the issue rests on the conflict and conviction of the characters, especially Twilight. This is a story of inner struggle and power, and words fall flat if those elements don't get conveyed through the characters' features and expressions, which Price has time and again proven deft at. In a similar vein, the majority of the comic takes place within a flat grey castle, which could easily suck the life out of any of the scenes, despite the wonderful contrast it provides against both the heroes' and the villains' colors. Though some of this is remedied by some very creative designs, much of the credit belongs to Heather's colorization, giving depth and light to each scene. By the end of the battle with Chrysalis, color and contrast define each panel, focusing our attention on the characters and their words while still being visually powerful, mirroring the growing intensity of the conflict. While the comic definitely hits the high notes, it doesn't miss the little details either. The little text blending into the tail of the comet is a great little integration, and when Twilight gets zapped by Chrysalis early on in the fight, the mark is there right up into the end, with only a few little exceptions. The writing really comes together in this issue. The other issues have been building to this moment, and it delivers on those promises. The jokes and references are handled well, fitting into the story, but not intruding into the important scenes, at least not overtly. They do throw a Bewitched reference right in the middle. Seeing what they were building up to, once again I have to say what a perfect choice Chrysalis was for this story, and her cavalier attitude, toying with the main six in Twilight, gives her a wonderful presence. With the final encounter revolving so much around the characters' words than their actions, it's a testament to the great character development in these issues leading up to here that they hold up in a very drawn-out emotional scene. If there were any doubts yet that this team gets the show, the characters, the villains, the lessons, this issue lays them to bed and buries them 6 feet deep. Capturing the spirit of the show and making it their own, Price, Cook, and Breckle have brought us an amazing story, and I can't wait to see what's in store. For Everfree Network, I'm Ramble. See you next time.